Greetings, friends, and welcome to episode 152 of the 4 Ps. And I'm often, maybe occasionally, asked, why are there 4 Ps? Well, why not 3? Why not 5? In short, there probably could be, but the variety of subjects is really what's important. And this week's topics really do cover the full spectrum of what often occupies my brain and reflects the true essence of why I started the 4 Ps in the first place. The 4 Ps. Professional. Political. Practical. Personal. We are not single subject creatures. I can be helping a client with their Instagram strategy while also pondering how our country still has a long way to go in battling racial equality on the policing front, and then go and gut check my stock portfolio 10 minutes later. Our personal lives and professional lives do not have clearly defined lines that separate them. Maybe only 2 or 3 of these 4 Ps will be relevant to you, and that's fine. Feel free to skip or engage where you want. And of course, your feedback is always welcome. So this week, let's start with something practical, because if you're anything like me, you get really excited to be an early user and ultimately an advocate for different types of innovative digital technology and media, even if you don't fully understand it. Sometimes these things hit, sometimes they don't. And the latest such opportunity is Clout, which has been all over Twitter and even starting to get some mainstream press in the last few weeks. It's got some really smart, connected, innovative, well-funded public advocates and investors, not only on the platform, but promoting it. So why not give it a try and get in early? They just raised a bunch of funding that puts it, the valuation at over $1 billion. So what is Clout? It essentially combines social media and Bitcoin. I was an early adopter of both, so why not? Clout gives users the ability to buy and sell something called creator coins based on your social media or Twitter profiles. It can be yours, your friends, but celebrities, brands, and other personalities. It's already somewhat controversial as it creates market value for these profiles, even if the profile owner is not active within Clout or even aware that people are trading their coins. I will be honest, I don't fully understand this one yet, or at least the practical long-term use cases. I understand how it works mostly, but I'm not sure why or what the broader social value is creating. Entertainment value, possibly. Real financial growth opportunities, maybe. I transferred a small amount of my Bitcoin into my Clout profile to start buying other coins. Who knows? If you're intrigued, though, check out and buy my coin on Clout. You'll make my value go up. Which makes me think about and reflect on the original social Clout with a K, K-L-O-U-T. Remember that one? Way back, more than a decade ago, in the early days of social media, Clout was a company that launched a ranking and weighting tool that measured individual profile activity, engagement, reach, impact, and really influence. The app also analyzed and scored users' Twitter and Facebook accounts for followers and retweets and shares and mentions, and then created this algorithm Clout score, right? A number between 1 and 100 that reflected how influential you were. It also ranked scores on more specific topics. Right? At one point in my early social media thought leadership days, I was among the highest ranking Clout score owners for topics like Facebook and also cupcakes. I guess I tweeted a lot about them back then. Clout was ultimately acquired by a company called Lithium Technologies for $200 million a few years ago. They're now Khoros, which a lot of people are familiar with at the time. But it was acquired for its machine learning and artificial intelligence technology capabilities. The application itself was ultimately shuttered back in 2018. At the time, Pete Hess, who is the CEO of Khoros, then Lithium, said about sunsetting, and I'm pretty sure someone out there is already going to bring Clout back on the blockchain in some different way, and is frantically writing up an ICO white paper as we speak about how that will work. Turns out it might be Clout. So Clout, like BitClout, was also controversial at the time in its own right. It was called tacky and basic and cheap. But the fact that BitClout has a marketplace, albeit speculative, with real currency gives it more legitimacy, and certainly a reason why I'm intrigued. And while I still don't fully understand what gives certain profiles more value or what's increasing or decreasing, because it's not just how much it's bought and sold, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I'm having fun. So check it out. Something personal. Retail investing has become increasingly popular in this digital mobile age where instant gratification is really just a click or a swipe away. But that also makes retail investing risky. There's a reason why professional investors and traders make so much money for themselves and for others. They understand the market. But this shouldn't be an exclusive advantage either. Last week's IPO of Coinbase shows how even the smartest of retail investment app users can actually get squeezed. Personal story. As a longtime cryptocurrency owner and advocate, I've been a Coinbase user since 2016, and I love investing in apps that I use. So with the buzz around its public offering leading up to last week, I thought the opening stock price of $250 was too low, and I was excited to buy it up as soon as public trading was enabled. I was refreshing my app all morning so I didn't miss an early run, and a little after 1 p.m. the stock was finally available to purchase on Stash. I placed an order to buy, and then I waited. 2 hours later, I finally got the notification that my purchase went through. Unfortunately, it was at a price of $370 per share. That was not what I was intending to buy it at. It's more than $120 above its opening price. By the end of the day, the stock price had already dropped back down to $320 per share, which means instead of getting a 30% profit, into public trading, I got 15% loss. And even in an age of instant digital connectivity, trading professionals and insiders had a leg up. I was pretty furious, as I'm sure you can imagine. And I don't think I was the only one. I tweeted about it, I complained about it, and as a result, one of the other retail stock trading apps that I happen to be a big fan of, Public, I've raved about it here, right, as an integrated social and community and investment experience, they're now committing to building a feature or functionality that will enable everyday app users and investors to lock in purchases of stock for IPOs and launch prices. They already opened up the waiting list while they build this feature, and this is going to be a game changer for increasingly enthusiastic early investors. As soon as it's ready, I'm actually going to close down my other retail investment app accounts and move fully 100% to Public, because they get it. So I think you should try it too. And if you want to join or interested, I'll send you a link and it will end up gifting you some free stock as well. And this is something political, and talk about flipping the script a little bit. Almost every week now we learn about another terrible, tragic instance of a black person dying at the hands of police officers. And then there's an ensuing flood of commentary and debate about whether or not the police were right to use the deadly force that they did. As the trial of George Floyd's murderer wraps up in Minneapolis this week, the country's dealing with 2 more deaths of minority youth at the hands of police. Dante Wright in Minneapolis in Minnesota, and Adam Toledo in Chicago. Racism is a horrendous part of America's DNA. Whether it's the country's history of slavery, the widespread police violence, or the small day-to-day injustices that black people experience, the burden of racism is best described as a cumulative trauma caused by historical and social and deeply personal events. If you've watched the news or read a newspaper in the past 5 years, Black Lives Matter and other social justice movements have brought these issues even more into the mainstream, and we all need to be thinking about it. We need to be aware of it. We need to be talking about it. We need to be doing something about it. But racism isn't just going to disappear through the social and political activism of black Americans alone. For many white Americans, racism is so deeply ingrained into our nervous systems that we don't even register how we contribute to it. Now, for black Americans, on the other hand, racial injustice is something that they are so aware of constantly and live with. As a result, black people suffer disproportionately from physical and mental distress. They're more often subject to direct violence, police brutality, and experience higher rates of stress, depression, anxiety, and physical health that they suffer as a result of stress-related diseases, right? High blood pressure, diabetes, alcoholism. White supremacy, both conscious and unconscious, is the reason why police routinely kill innocent black people, but at the same time will peacefully arrest mass shooters. Police violence against black people is an epidemic in America. Historically, police departments were created to protect white societies, with roots in slave patrols established in the South in the 17th century. And today, police departments have important responsibilities in our cities and towns. Yes, police work can be and is often or extremely stressful and occasionally even dangerous. Police departments offer little guidance in how to discharge the stress that individual officers feel because they're so mired in legacy, traditional ways of working. They incentivize the wrong things, like arrest rates. And as a result, police in America often behave as if their purpose is not to serve their communities, but to subjugate them. Individual racism is terrible, but institutional racism is probably even worse. Modern policing has to be community policing. There are high-stress situations, and not all police officers are trained to properly diffuse tensions while on duty or off duty. And this first requires police leadership to realize and admit that there's a problem. Some already have, but then they have to offer training and other ways, outlets such as mediation sessions, exercise classes, regular opportunities to talk with therapists. It should be mandatory. We can create a culture of anti-racism by coming together in our own communities and then expanding outward. This is a form of policing that emphasizes the police's role as a friend and a helper. Community policing, right? Not about antagonism. Better training in mental health and psychological first aid will help police approach people in distress more safely and not be triggered by subconscious racism. Off-duty volunteering, coaching, mentoring, being involved in the community will help foster relationships in the neighborhood. And as we start to nurture a new collaborative culture, the processes of healing from racism shouldn't be isolated, but run in parallel with lots of collaborative coordination between all of us. And something professional. Because I was meeting with a new client last week, an emerging beauty brand with a cult following and an incredible product line focused on skin health. This company, despite having a significant global presence, is not as mature on digital and social platforms as they should be. Its target audience is quite active on Instagram. The brand is already featured in millions of user-generated posts. They're talked about in conversations. People are creating content, consumers, fans, advocates, all over the world. So how can they and other emerging businesses grow their Instagram audience now in 2021? Here are 10 ways, 10 tips, 10 things that brands can and should be doing to grow their Instagram presence. Number one is know your role. Any good relationship requires commitment. So don't just jump into or onto Instagram unless you're ready to go all in. Instagram's become much more than a place to show off product pictures. The competition for user attention is fierce. And the algorithm, right, it is a Facebook product after all, is always evolving. So study your competitors, your audience, and even other brands outside your category, both qualitatively and quantitatively, to see what inspires. Number two is plan the content. A well-populated Instagram feed full of fresh content will help to attract followers who love your brand. Brands have multiple objectives, from product awareness to engagement to conversion. Not all of these priorities can be accomplished in every single post. Developing a few different but focused themes is going to be important, but they must all be beautiful and compelling. These themes will help to strengthen your brand's appeal when you're posting and remind followers what you're all about. It's also an opportunity to make the brand more memorable. Number three, Go big with video. Video has become one of the most valuable tools on Instagram, including posting video to the grid and feed. There are 3 other video options now to choose from. Instagram Reels, which are shorter TikTok-like snippets. It's the most recent addition to Instagram and heavily skews towards engagement. IGTV is ideal for audience building as it gives you access to another section of the Instagram app. And Instagram Live is best for showing your personality and humanity and authenticity. You can introduce team members or influencers and show what's happening behind the scenes with your brand. Tip number 4, leverage influencers. Influencer marketing isn't new. In fact, it's become so popular that it may have lost some of its effectiveness because of oversaturation. But partnering with experts smartly, right, other niche personalities, it's one way to build credibility through association. We used to call it borrowed relevance. Now we just call it an important part of the marketing diet for creation, curation, and amplification. Some tactical options for working with influencers include takeovers, giveaways, and actual competitions. Tip number 5, be authentic. This is both the most cliche, yet overlooked and underappreciated guidance for brands on Instagram. Beautiful and compelling visuals are important, but consumers want to see real. Users are less interested in what products or services you can offer and much more interested in who you are and what the people behind the scenes and operating your business actually look like and what they do. This can be accomplished through access, testimonials, behind the scenes videos, emotional captions, and connections with real people. You can answer common follower questions with videos, right? Or pictures, or even how-to guides. Here's an example of a how-to guide right now. Tip number 6, tell stories. Or more like use your Instagram stories too. This is a great feature for combining various images, clips, and captions into more engaging experiences for your audience. And while you should plan Instagram stories out, they're only temporary, so it doesn't have to be as polished or as much of a focus of financial creative investment. Tip number 7, use hashtags. Pay attention to the tags that are trending on the Explore page for Instagram, and you can also cheat with hashtag generators. For ongoing results, remember to use branded hashtags regularly. Tip number 8, schedule and publish consistently. To get the best results and grow your Instagram presence, you'll need to publish quality content and do it consistently. Sure, that means scheduling your content in advance to take advantage of national holidays and generating buzz like everyone seems to be doing these days. But this type of planning will keep your feed from growing stale. A well-planned content calendar also means you don't have to worry if you have a day without inspiration, right? Insights tools can help determine when your customers are most likely to be active, and platforms like Later and Buffer and Sprout Social let you schedule your posts for Instagram and also have a range of other features that you can leverage. For now, you'll still need to tag your products for shopping and commerce on the native platform itself, but plan ahead. Tip number 9, optimize your profile. Not all consumers are going to see every single post, but I guarantee you all of them at some point will see your profile. So don't overlook the opportunities to optimize everything on the page, right, in order to deliver results. Your profile picture. The ideal profile picture might not be something totally engagement focused. It could be a snapshot of your logo or even an image of your product like Oreo uses. Now, for the most part, however, people like to see other human beings on Instagram. Optimize your bio, where you inform your audience of the most important things they need to know about you. It's your bio. You only have 150 characters here, though, so stay concise and get to the point. Use branded hashtags. You can use unique fonts and even emojis to help your bio stand out and generate engagement. And then also use that link in bio. One of the most valuable tools you have on Instagram to encourage people to visit your website and other online assets is the link in your bio. Remember, people can't always click from individual posts. So while regular refreshes can be tiresome, a link in bio tool like url.bio can help you get the most out of that single link. And then last but not least, tip number 10, spend money to make money, right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Facebook's ad targeting platform is the most powerful advertising tool in history. The initial stages of building your reputation and generating credibility often take a while. To speed things up and reduce the weight on your shoulders, it's important to go beyond organic growth and spend some money. How to best do this could be an entirely different post and video altogether, but you can just email me and we can talk about it. These are 10 tips on how brands can strengthen their relationship with consumers, customers, and show followers what their business is all about on Instagram. Go for it.